my note.
Hang on, something's not right either. This is the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm the host, Tommy Stryker. Joining me today, as usual, Taco and Joe are both here this week, so that is good news.
What up? What's up?
It's good to have you guys. Here.
Good to be back.
So there's a ton to talk about. As we were doing the podcast last week, it was going on. The TNA show with the final deletion was happening as we were recording the show last week. So we didn't get a chance to talk about it because it was going on as we were recording the show. Very rare that we actually talk about TNA on this show and otherwise. But let's just jump right into it. We'll talk about that. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about Brock Lesnar. We got to talk about.
Who's Brock Lesnar?
Bork Laser.
Yeah. Well, where should we start? I think this final
deletion.
The final deletion a week ago now. It happened. 17 glorious minutes of the Hardys doing what they do. Just insanity. Basically, it was what is it? It's the best of backyard wrestling meets the production quality of TNA.
I've seen someone dub the Jackass theme with it.
Yeah,
spot on.
I think I saw that on there too somewhere. But yeah, it's just I don't know how to describe it or what to think about it. I mean, it's very funny. It's very entertaining. We saw WWE's version of it on Monday Night Raw with the Wyatts and the New Day. So, here's the thing: it's not going to change wrestling. It's not going to do anything good for TNA. I mean, talk about it. I think it's wrestling's version of a viral video. It didn't by any means go viral in terms of the worldwide kind of a thing. It's not mainstream, but amongst
not like Caveman SpongeBob.
Amongst wrestling fans, though, it was like this big thing, and it was hilarious. But it's at the end of the day, I think it's great for the Hardys. It's something that they can do for the rest of their career with the Brother Nero stuff. He can do that forever. And go ahead. What were you going to say?
It brought like a lot of old school fans kind of back into wrestling temporarily. They're like, Hardy Boys, what the fuck are they doing?
Right.
And then they actually watch it and they're like, is this what they do now? It's like, I don't know.
That could be if you think about bringing old school wrestling fans back, or people that were familiar with the Hardys back then, and then seeing what they're doing now, is like, is this what wrestling is now? Is it because it's so
setting a bad example?
It's setting them right back to not being wrestling. I'm not gonna. If that's what it is, I mean, it's whatever. But it's not making me tune in to watch more wrestling. If you're not watching wrestling on a regular basis,
is up though.
What's that?
They got their TNA more viewers though.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: they created a social media buzz before it, so that people would tune in to see what it was. Because there was that first Brother Nero video that they did about a month or so ago,
right?
And then this is like the final deletion, the second version of it, and so. So it did bring about, I can't remember what the numbers were exactly. It was right around 100,000 more viewers to TNA, who's getting like between 300,000 and 400,000 a week, basically. But to me, being able to, I'm sure the three of us, we didn't watch TNA last week. We watched it on YouTube. I imagine a lot of people watched it on YouTube and not, sit through the entire 2 hours of TNA. And I went out of my way not to actually watch TNA last week, but I listened to some podcasts, obviously, other people talking about this and talking about what happened on that specific episode of TNA. And a lot of it sounded like, well, just more TNA. You know, they had heels out there doing an opening promo just like Raw, but it's TNA version of Raw. So they get heels coming out doing a promo at the beginning of the show, and then, oh, here comes Dixie Carter. That's who I want to see on my TV. Dixie Carter comes out, and then they, you know, and it's the same old stuff. And they open their second hour with more talking segments, and then Dixie Carter again, and then Billy Corgan comes out.
Oh, yes.
It's like, okay, so TNA, who's made a career out of squandering opportunities. You know, they've had chance after chance after chance to make a change, do something better. You know, whether it's changing the name or just doing something that's original, doing something that's not a cheap copy of what WWE does or whatever.
Right.
This was another one of those chances, and they had more eyeballs on the product. They had more people watching because of this ridiculous final deletion thing, which at the end, I'm not criticizing it because it was what it was, and it was entertaining, and it made me laugh, and I liked it. But it's stupid. It's so stupid.
I love the fact that even Matt Hardy is going to the extent and took over Jeff Hardy's Twitter account.
Oh, did he really?
Like now, the at Jeff Hardy brand is known as #Brother Nero deleted. Now he's sending out tweets like, "It's dark and lonely here in deletion."
Oh, so much good sound from that thing. I mean, I
want that violin. I want to be able to pull Jeff Hardy from whenever I want, just whenever I want.
Just summon him with the violin.
You can't no more. It's been deleted.
I gotta know where I can find a dilapidated boat. It's very good at protecting yourself from out of control fireworks. Shooting each other with Roman fucking candles. It's the ultimate in backyard wrestling. It really is. It's Roman candles, jumping out of trees. You know? Oh, just insanity.
Costume switch in the lake.
Right, yeah, Willow showed up. And then Willow turned out to be the groundskeeper or whatever.
Yeah. The guy who announced the warning at the beginning.
Yeah, I missed the one with the warning. I never saw that one. So, but anyway, so what do you guys make of WWE doing their version of it with the New Day and the Wyatts, the fight in the woods, as it were, from Monday Night Raw? They show up and they get their car wrecked right away and throughout the thing, and I don't know, it's a fight in the woods.
Right.
There was no story.
No premise to it.
It was just them fighting, and they fight back and forth, and it looks like the New Day is going to get beat, and they come back, and then they're standing there face to face at the end of it. Each team of three. Mm-hmm. At one point where we were talking about it earlier, where Wyatt tells Strowman to jump up on top of the car, go up, and he goes up there. And then Woods comes in and makes a comeback and takes him out, and then Braun just keeps standing there like he doesn't know what to do.
Whoever, like a cat stuck in a tree.
Whoever's lying there waiting for Strowman to jump on, he comes back and takes out Strowman because he's just standing there, doesn't know what to do. But anyway, so at the end of it, yeah, they're all three standing there face to face or whatever, or facing each other. I think there's a bit of distance between them, and then more fireflies or whatever show up. People with masks, Sister Abigail's or whatever, and then the New Day just kind of they kind of cower away. I guess I would too against that many Wyatts, but I don't know what you were saying that this is just their answer to the final deletion.
Just pretty much just trolling them at this point, showing them that even when they don't try, it's still better. Right? And I'm not even saying it was better, but
it was different though. That's like, I think the Brother Nero stuff was, they were going for something. They were going for camp and over the top and ridiculous. And what made it work so good is that as over the top as Matt Hardy is, Jeff just plays it straight the whole time. He's got drones in his house and he's swatting in the way, and he's like, "Oh hell no!" Just, so that's what made that work. What doesn't work with the Wyatts for me, it's like I don't know. It just didn't work.
It doesn't add to the story at all.
they film it, but they make it look like shitty film with the filter over the camera and everything. I don't know. It's just
I would like the Fireflies or whatever, like taking like Xavier Woods away or something.
Yes,
right.
That's what I was.
Leave us suspended.
They teased us with that a couple of times because Wyatt throws him in the car. They busts all the windows. I don't know what good busting the windows does when you got him in the car. Don't you want to drive him away, take him somewhere?
I'm pretty sure when he chucks that cinder block, though, you see Xavier Woods like jump, like he's behind the back seat, but like he was scared that cinder block.
He gets out of there because Wyatt goes to look for him again, and he's gone. And that's when he does the "come out wherever you are" line, and then he comes swats him away from the woods or whatever there. So I don't know. Let's talk a little Brock Lesnar and the big fight from the weekend. Did you get a chance to see it, Taco?
I did. I
Thank
did see
you.
it.
That's good.
At least one of us did.
I actually recorded it on the DVR and I contemplated watching. I was like, this is what, $50? That's not bad for a big pay-per-view. I got home late and I'm like, the wife's not going to like it if I order the pay-per-view. So I will rely on getting my information from the internet and Taco, who got to see it firsthand, talk about the Lesnar fight.
Well, Lesnar walking out was just straight Van Damme, pissed off, ready for fucking war.
Nice.
Mark Hunt coming out had like a shit-eating smirk on his face. Like, this was like, this is going to be nothing. They instantly like pulled out a Snapchat filter and face swap. Like, Lesnar was smiling, Mark Hunt was frowning. Like, once Lesnar took him to the ground, like, he did exactly what Lesnar needed to do. He needed to out-wrestle Mark Hunt. I thought Mark Hunt was personally a bigger guy.
Right.
Seeing him at the weigh-ins, I was like,
I did see that. It's like, yeah, Lesnar towers over him. So
and Lesnar's in shape too.
Right, yeah.
He looked good. I just wish he could get some punches together. They're so fucking sloppy, but
yeah.
I know the little Lesnar, the pecking punches he does. It's like his move in there.
Right, he gets a guy down and he just kind of swats at him a little bit, huh?
Oh, they're both had big old welts on their eyes, but yeah,
I did see that. Yeah,
the first round was pretty much Lesnar controlling him, wrestling him, punching him in the face. There was one point where Lesnar had his back, and I was like, "Come on, slap that suplex in. You can do this. That's money right there."
I did see that from a couple of people that said it looked like he had a couple opportunities to either get a suplex or an F5 in.
Right. Oh, and for sure, come out to your music. Came out to Metallica. It was so sad.
See, that was getting my next question. Did he come out to the Lesnar song? But no, he came out to Metallica. Was Heyman there?
He wasn't. No.
Was Randy Orton at cage side?
They didn't point him out or anything. I heard rumors that he was in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
They didn't really
say
anything. Before he came out, though, there was a SummerSlam, and they even got the 2K17 commercial going on.
Okay,
too,
yeah.
So kind of a double shout out there. They did mention that he was going to be facing Randy Orton at SummerSlam, so I thought that was really cool.
Sure, okay. So let's talk about that aspect of this whole thing while we're on it. So WWE announces on SmackDown last week that Randy Orton's going to be the opponent for Lesnar at SummerSlam. So what do you guys make of that? Are you excited for that? How do you feel about that announcement beforehand? Obviously, it was to do something so that they could advertise something at UFC 200. They wanted to advertise what Lesnar's next WWE match would be. But how do you guys feel about it as fans? Orton's big comeback against
I was cast aside. Like, I didn't like it. Like, honestly, it's like, I'm not even the biggest Randy Orton fan. I mean, he's done great in-ring work. He's got a couple really awesome matches, but I just feel like it's almost disrespectful bringing him back this way.
Right, because Lesnar is the beast, and he just, he was the underdog going into this fight, this legit fight, and then he wins by the unanimous decision. And just
work off.
It was, and
there was like little to no offense from Hunt, which was amazing.
Right,
and he has the best wrestling defense. I think he's top 3 in the UFC for wrestling takedown defense.
Wow,
and Lesnar was just like, "No, you're on the ground." And Hunt's he's a round guy. He usually just rolls out of being grounded from a wrestler if he's grounded. No, not with Lesnar. So, the second round of that match, though, nothing. They just circled each other, the whole time.
I love garbage time in UFC.
Full disclosure, I just noticed, now we are live on YouTube. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, yeah.
We are broadcasting live on YouTube. But I forgot to hit record on the audio portion that I usually record the podcast with. So there is going to be, as you're listening to the show, it's going to sound one way, and then it's drastically going to change if you're just listening to the podcast, because I'm going to have to edit the stuff together later.
Goddamn producer.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just the people who listen to it live got a bonus.
Yeah, the live people get it all one way. The podcast people are
It was a pre-show.
yeah, we had a little bit of a pre-show. So if you're just joining us,
We're talking about Lesnar.
if you're listening to the podcast, you're going to get the whole thing. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to edit the whole thing together. If not, I'll edit in something with some sort of description. We'll figure it out later. For now, we'll just keep talking about what we're talking about. Yeah, Randy Orton coming back after this injury. He's got to get in there and go to Suplex City. Orton's got to lose, right? He's got to lose that momentum right off the bat. Is there any chance that Orton wins against Lesnar?
No, very, very slim, if any.
Because, I mean, think about it. I can see them wanting to. I don't know. I don't even want to think about that. That'd be so stupid.
Let's get past Battleground.
That's true. We got to get past Battleground and the draft and everything else, and the Cruiserweight Classic starting this week. So much is going
Did
on.
you hear what Lesnar took in from that fight?
It was a big amount of money.
It was $2.5 million just for showing up, minimum $5,000 for sponsorship from Reebok, and then with pay-per-view buys and everything else, it's going to be a minimum of about $6 million to a maximum of high around $8 million.
Jeez. So that one fight, he's making way more than he is for WWE.
Brock Lesnar, if you're listening, we would love to have you on the podcast.
I'll give him this too. He's pretty much known for being out there on his interviews.
Yeah.
He gave a very respectful post-fight interview for once. So it was
Nice.
it was everyone was shocked that he just didn't say something shocking.
Well, he has a lot of masters to answer to now at this point, between Dana White and Vince McMahon and everybody. So
Well, that's the thing with fighting though, is especially if you get a win, it's you get addicted to it. I already know he's gonna want a second fight. And
I'm sure.
a buddy of mine asked me, he was like, "Do you think Lesnar's gonna come back for a fight?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, he's gonna come back for another
Was
fight."
Hunt to top 10?
Yeah,
Damn.
and because of that win, Lesnar is ranked number 8.
Nice.
It's just a matter of time before he's back in the championship picture. So
Well, my first thought was to pair him up against this fighter Junior Dos Santos, because he just came off a big war with Cain Velasquez, had a few losses, and just came back with a big win. It kind of looked like the same again. And sure enough, he's already calling out Brock Lesnar. So that could be a good, eliminator down the road to either fight a Cain Velasquez again or fight Overeem, who's the one that took out Lesnar.
I want to see that.
See,
I wanna
there
see
you
that.
go.
And Overeem is actually fighting for the belt at CM Punk's debut.
Well, there you go. We got lots of intriguing matches coming up there, or potential matches, I should say. So yeah, I don't see any way that Lesnar does not fight again. So
No,
there's too much money
especially after a win like that.
So yeah. Anything else news-wise that we should touch on? I did see
We could bring up the actual purchase of UFC over the weekend.
they did get purchased over the weekend.
Probably one of the biggest purchases in sports history.
Yeah, $4 billion.
Worth just as much as Star Wars.
Right?
Well, I've seen a lot of people that say it's not worth it. And I'm just like, you are out of your goddamn mind.
100% worth it. You're buying a whole sport.
They are printing money over there. They really are. They're making a lot of money. I did want to mention, we've talked about, obviously, the Cruiserweight Classic starting. NXT with the big show this week. The G1 Climax is starting next week. But also next week is the start of another New Japan tournament. It is the Super J Cup. Now, this is just going to be on July 20th. They're going to have the first. This is more like the Cruiserweight Classic, where it's single elimination style. So they're going to do the first round on July 20th next week again.
Oh, joy.
But then they're not going to finish it up until like a month later in August. So this is a lot like the Super Juniors, but there's a lot of guys from around the world. There's a lot of they got Ring of Honor guys, some Noah guys. I think they got some CMLL guys in here. Yes, they do. Will Ospreay is in it. Let's see, Taguchi, Matt Sydal, Kushida, of course, Jushin Thunder Liger, of course. And let's see. I was looking to see if doesn't look like what's his name now? Lucha Underground guy. He was just Puma. Ricochet. He is not here. All that trouble to think of his name, and I couldn't think of it. But yeah, this looks like it should be an interesting tournament, but that starts next week. So I just wanted to cite that. We can talk about that, the results of that. We'll probably talk about the results in 2 weeks because that'll be next Wednesday. Next week is our big live SmackDown podcast.
Live action!
We will be broadcasting just like we are today, live, but it will be a special 2-hour edition during the live SmackDown. So we will be simulcasting and following along. So we'll be, we'll have the audio piped in as well, so that if we were being quiet and paying attention to something on TV, but you'll be able to sync up with this as the show starts, and that way we're all lined up.
Shit, rewind it! I forgot to sync up.
So even if you watch it on your own and you decide to watch it back later on or whatever, however you want to do it, or if you just want to listen, that's fine too. But that will be next week. So the week after that, there's going to be so much to talk about. The Cruiserweight Classic going on, the G1 Climax will be going on, the Best of the Super Juniors, or not Super Juniors, the Super J Cup will be the first round will be through, so we'll be able to talk about that and all kinds of stuff. Where should we go with this whole thing next now?
I mean, I'm
screeching halt.
I'm dying to talk about the Cruiserweight Classic.
You want to? Let's
really want to
let's get into our bracketology. Now, Taco, you did not get your bracket filled out till you got here today,
dude.
So
yeah, that's true.
I got one. I actually did mine yesterday, so I was a little bit later to the party. You were all over it, Joe. You started yours like the day of.
I was ready.
You were on it. So, where do you want to start? Should we start who we got in the finals, or how do we want to? Should we score each other on this and have a competition and see who has the most points?
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
So like,
I'd say the easiest way is just go first round's a point, second round's 2 points, third round's 3 points, finals worth like 5 or something like that.
That's a good idea.
Simplest, easy.
Pretty much how the NCAA ones work. The later rounds are worth more points. So
should winner. Yeah, we need something on the line.
We do. We gotta figure out.
Do you have any ideas? Please hit us on the Twitter.
I don't think the complete first and last season of Wrestling Society X that we have displayed on the table here is a worthy enough prize. But I'm sure
I was thinking like a round of beer or something.
That's probably a way to go.
That'll probably be
losers have to buy the beer.
Loser buys beers.
There we go. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Okay. Well, who wants to start here? Joe, you're very excited. Where do you
I actually want to talk about. I mean, watching the bracketology thing, I really like T.J. Perkins. He's got a great backstory.
Yeah,
I like his persona, and just seeing the small bit of clips that they showed. I had to obviously go down to YouTube all, and he is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
he's just so much fun to watch. And again, just with his story, I can see him going a little bit far.
Yeah, I liked the several people that they highlighted on that show.
The worst stories of the group, though.
You're right. Yeah, the Rich Swann, his parents dying when he was young, and the Harvin Gerv guys, the Bollywood boys, I didn't have them going too far in my brackets. I think I got Gerv winning one. No, I got him winning twice actually. So I got him going, but I got the other one out in the first round.
See, and that's the problem is I thought that would have been really. I mean, obviously the easy setup to send your tag team partner against each other. But then I saw how the bracket was laid out. I'm like, God, that's not gonna fucking happen. I mean, what's funny, I've seen Taco's bracket, and I can say this: we have the exact same final. So I'm very interested in what your final is.
My final is Zack Sabre Jr. and Kota Ibushi.
That is the exact same final.
All right. Well, who do you guys have winning?
I have Sabre Jr. winning.
All right.
Yeah.
Taco. I got Ibushi.
Oh,
nice.
This could be good.
See, I think with all the hype with Ibushi, it's going to be like almost a good setup and lose at the championship table, just because it seems like he's going to be in NXT or he's going to be involved with WWE from what I've seen.
Sure.
Don't give him the win. Give it to Zack Sabre Jr., who I also see a future with WWE with. But I love Zack Sabre Jr.
Well,
If you want,
these guys could have a future with the WWE, especially with the draft coming along.
Well, here's what my thinking is that yes, I agree that I think Kota Ibushi is going to be on NXT or whatever, maybe drafted somewhere, who knows. But the Cruiserweight Classic doesn't end until September, so probably won't be involved in the draft next week. But I thought he would win it because he's definitely going to be contracted I shouldn't say definitely, but that's how it seems with all the hype and everything. Zack Sabre Jr., on the other hand, he's got PWG dates in August and September. I think it's just whatever the Battle of Los Angeles is, that I think is August. So he's going to be in that. I think he's still got stuff going on overseas. So that's kind of was my thinking, is that they're going to give it to Ibushi. But it'll be really interesting to see how it plays out. I got Jack, that Jack Gallagher guy. I got him going to
Gallagher.
Gallagher.
No, it's Gallagher.
Oh, anyway, I got him going to the semis with Zack Sabre. Who you got?
I have the same, actually.
You got him going to the semi.
Yeah,
I just liked his attitude, man.
Yeah.
Like everything about him, and he's going to be that old-fashioned style wrestler, but still has almost like a new kind of character.
I think it's interesting how the bracketology special obviously influenced all of our picks up to this point. So yeah, I got Gallagher going to the semifinals. I got Tajiri going to the round before that. So I got Tajiri with 2 wins, I should say.
I see him winning the first one, but if I remember correctly, I don't think I have him past the second round.
Okay. That's right. You forgot to bring your bracket with you.
Yeah, I'm working off a memory.
Hey, it's on Twitter. Why don't you just look it up?
I took a picture of it before I filled it out.
But see, now you got to take one and put it on Twitter before it starts.
I will.
So that way it's documented that just in case one of us has a perfect bracket or something.
Yeah.
So you got to document it. That given, although there are, I guess, there's spoilers out there for the first round that's already been taken.
I've completely gone blank on that.
So have I.
Look at
I did not look at any spoilers. So if I have a perfect bracket, I guess there's no way to prove it.
I'm actually excited too because they featured the Brian Kendrick.
Yes.
On the bracketology special.
Yes, I got him with just 1 win. But
I think I had the same rough. I don't think he went past the second round.
Because the matchup, he's facing a guy named Raul Mendoza, and then the match opposite those two is Tony Nese and Anthony Bennett. I got Nese going over there, and then Nese beating Kendrick, and then Nese faces Ibushi in the next round, and of course Ibushi beats him there. I got your guy T.J. Perkins going all the way to the semis on the other side.
I do.
So it'd be Perkins versus Ibushi in the semifinals there.
That'll be awesome.
Yes, I also have Perkins versus a guy named Jason Lee, which is probably not a good pick because I got Jason Lee winning over Rich Swann in the first round. They kind of featured Rich Swann, so that's maybe an upset of mine, I guess. So that's
Maybe.
I picked Jason.
that might be my bracket buster.
Nice.
Just because his name is Jason.
See, I like the name too. Yeah.
Maybe think of Bruce Lee.
There was this matchup right above the Rich Swann Jason Lee matchup, the Mustafa Ali versus is it Lance or Lance Dorado? It's okay, yeah, I didn't misspell. I had no idea who either of these two were. I went onto WWE.com and looked at all their little hype videos that are not on there anywhere. So I didn't bother going onto YouTube. I probably should have. So
Hey,
this one,
name-wise, I have Mustafa winning.
that's what I did too. I picked Mustafa Ali. That sounds good. So that's.
I would buy that T-shirt. That's awesome.
Who did you guys have in the Ciampa Gargano match?
Ooh, but I actually picked Gargano.
Me too.
I picked Gargano.
Oh, we all
Just
going with
because
Gargano.
he has the better character. He's more over with the crowd than Tommaso is, but I think I see Tommaso doing singles career somewhere down the line more.
Yeah, and my instinct was actually to pick Tommaso for the win in this one, but then I decided, well, that just seems like the easy answer. So that's why I went with.
We don't want to get played, man.
Let's see.
Our local guy.
I
got him.
I got Davari out in the first round,
Me too.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I had to admit that one.
Just because he's a guy stateside, and the guy he's facing, Ho Ho Lun, is a Chinese guy, And WWE is really trying to push the Chinese relationship that they have. It's brand new, really. So they're really trying to push that aspect of it. They just signed a developmental guy from China, their first actual signee. This guy, he's not signed. He's just part of the Cruiserweight Classic. But that being said, I think with their relationship with China, John Cena learning Mandarin of all things, that they want to protect that.
Deep with this motherfucker.
I think that they want to protect that relationship. So I got Ho Ho Lun making it to the second round.
I picked his name because it was Ho Ho.
You went with Ho Ho over our local guy.
Believe me, I want Davari.
Davari, I have you going to round 3 with Zach Sabre Jr. I'm hoping for you, man. I'm hoping.
That's awesome. At least one of us gave the local guy some love because I wanted to, but after I did some research on the Ho Ho Lun guy, not only is he a Chinese wrestling star, he actually started China's own promotion, and he was like the first one to start a Chinese promotion.
Is it China or was it Korean? Because I remember hearing that on the Bracketology that it was the first Korean professional wrestling promotion. I thought.
I'm pretty sure this guy was from China though. I'm not. Maybe I was wrong because I watched the video.
The introductory video. Somebody is mentioned in saying that he started that, but I honestly don't think it was Ho Ho.
The guy Ho Ho definitely started it. I think it's Chinese. I don't want to. I'm pretty sure because Can
we just say his name a bunch of times?
I can find video. It's on WWE.com. I will get it here.
What else do they got? Hey Taco, what else we got on the bracket?
Oh, dude, I'm not paying attention.
Taco's on Twitter or something.
I was actually looking up the whole thing. On the bracket, we got the Noam Dar. I don't even fucking know some of these names.
I actually did pick. I was thinking this, just picking a match that is going to happen. But the best match of my tournament, I think, is going to be the Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano match.
Oh, you think that'll be the match of the show or of the whole tournament? Huh?
For me, that's when they wrestle, like they are fucking trying hard. I love their finisher for one, but I think they're going to know each other better than anybody in the tournament, minus the fact of the Bollywood boys actually getting to wrestle each other if that happens.
That's a good point. And that was something I never thought about either, the Bollywood boys potentially fighting each other, because that would have been a possibility, I think, if they made it maybe to the semifinals.
Yeah, exactly. Or put them closer together.
Right. So, well, I can't find the video here.
Nah, fuck it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Thanks for interrupting me, Joe. I almost had it.
Well, my whole point with the Ho Ho Lun thing, just going back to it now, is that he started his own promotion in his home country because there was no promotion there. He went around the world, got trained, and started
It is the Hong Kong Pro Wrestling Federation.
See, there you go. Nice. I was right.
Very nice. There's a guy. I'm telling you, it was Korean, but maybe it was the announcers. Who knows?
Let's see. You brought up Noam Dar versus Gurv. How do you say the last name of the Bollywood boys? Is it Syra?
I think it was Syra.
Anyway, so I got Syra or Gurv going over Noam Dar there, which was a hard decision because he was kind of a featured guy on the show and definitely a name I've heard before. So who do you guys got in that one?
I went with the Shira.
Okay, so you got him going there too. Okay, obviously we got Zack Sabre going over Tyson Dukes there. Drew Gulak and Harv Sira. Who do you got going on that one there?
Harv Sira.
I don't even
Shira.
know.
I bet it's Shira.
Yeah, it probably is.
I have Harv.
I'm gonna keep saying Sira anyway.
You got Harv. See, I got Gulak there, so because that's a name that I'm definitely familiar. He's a name from the indie scene, and this might be maybe I probably should have picked Shira on this one just because they featured him. One of the Bollywood boys on the show.
Tasting so good already, boys.
So that could be a bracket buster for me. I got Grand Metallic going over Alejandro Saez. Who do you guys got for that one?
I'm actually pretty sure I picked Saez on that one.
Okay, yeah, because he was a featured guy too. Well, they talk a little bit about Metallica, didn't they? Or maybe it was on the video series that I looked at. So
the sad part is I see a lot of the luchadors leaving first round.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. So, all right. Well, anything else from the bracketology you guys want to get into? Like I said, I got. I'm looking forward to Ibushi and Perkins in the semifinals if it goes that far.
I think it'll happen.
Both the semifinal matches, the Gallagher and Zack Sabre Jr. would be really good too, because both of those guys being UK guys. So
I think the Barry and Zack Sabre Jr. is gonna be a phenomenal match.
all right, let's talk a little bit of Lucha Underground. I know you got notes over there from this last week. It was Ultima Lucha Dos Part 1. I don't want to say it, but I'm actually a little bit sour on this whole show. But I'm going to let you kind of lead the way, Taco, since you took some notes on it.
All right.
So I want to kind of hear what your thoughts are initially.
Well, I gotta correct myself from last week. I was like, oh, for sure, Ray and Prince Puma are fighting next week. In all fairness, Prince Puma did say, I'm going to do this to you next week. But it was the Ultima Lucha Dos Night 1. And pretty much the first match was the Mac against Brian Cage.
And these matches were semifinals of the tournament to win a unique opportunity. So that's what both of these were. So the winners of both of these matches face off in the main event.
Well, the first,
more or less.
Yep. So the first match, Dario Cueto comes out and says, pretty much reminiscing about the Falls Count Anywhere from Ultima Lucha 1.
Yes.
And so he's saying that this match is going to be a Falls Count Anywhere. Pretty much the match starts off, Mac ducking a clothesline, Cage hits spring forward moonsault and starts off with a quick 2 count. Mac gets up, hits an enziguri, sending Cage to the ropes, and then Mac kind of hits a spear, sending him outside to the ring. During that, the outside of that, Cage hip tosses Mac into the steps.
Yeah, that was brutal.
It was like
into
around the ribs too.
Into the stands, yeah.
It was not good. And then trash can lid. So I thought that was pretty fun to. I know you're kind of sour on some of this, but it's Ultimate Lucha.
here's the reason why I'm sour on a lot of this whole show. Actually, the whole part 1 of the Ultimate Lucha Dos is that it feels like they were squeezing these longer matches into these. They had to really edit them down, and so they edited out all the psychology so they could get in all the this is awesome stuff and holy shits. And so there was not a ton of psychology. There's they go to it's Falls Count Anywhere, so there's
I like the spot when Cage throws him into the office and Cueto is just standing there like yes, and Vampiro even mentions like you know how many times we have to replace that office? That's just a terrible spot.
I like how Cage grabs the poster from Dario's office and it's got a glass frame and he busts it over Cage's head or whatever, or Mac's head. And so there's a lot of spots like that. No blood, a lot of big spots. They do a garbage can lid to the head unprotected, a stop sign to the head unprotected, a guitar to the head. He brings out pinatas at one point.
He starts drinking beer.
Well, yeah, the Mac does his Stone Cold Steve Austin impression where he clangs beers together and hits him with a stunner. He does that twice in the match. And the only thing I did like about this match, besides the lack of psychology or whatever, the thing I liked about it was the finish where Brian Cage is going for the curb stomp on the cinder block again. That was the finish from last year. But as he's going for the curb stomp on the cinder block, he slips on the beer. That's all over the mess. And then that allows Mac to roll him up for the victory.
And I like that it was a quick roll up, too. I thought up like that because it was like, I was not expecting Mac to win that one. So I was like, fuck yeah.
So I did like that. Then the second match was Tejano versus Son of Havoc in a bar fight, whatever that is. So there was a bar cart
at APA there.
No, there was a bar cart at ringside that got involved. So it's again a no DQ, anything goes kind of a match.
Pretty much comes out saying he's like, when I see a biker and a cowboy in the middle of the ring, I expect a bar fight. There just so happens to be a bar right there.
So again, they're squeezing all of this stuff into one show, Where would it?
Well, how, is it just a normal length show?
Yeah, it's just a 1 hour show.
They're
So
splitting it up into 3 different weeks.
And they still have to cut it up so bad.
I was expecting a fatal 4-way match, and then watching Underground this week, having it split up like that, I was like, oh, I thought they were just gonna go at it as one big match.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Unique opportunity is to work in a unique thrift store.
So talk about this match, Taco.
Just a lot of back and forth action. There's one point where Havoc and Texano go battle into a room a little bit, and Havoc comes out wearing the fire helmet and walking out with the fire extinguisher. It got a good laugh from the crowd a little bit.
Son of Havoc hits Tejano, or squirts the fire extinguisher on Tejano, and then Tejano grabs a bottle of vodka to flush his eyes, but he doesn't sell it like it's vodka. It's obviously water.
Right.
It would have been better if he sold it like the Carino and BJ Whitmer thing when he pours the alcohol into his face. It would have been better if he goes to flush his face with the alcohol and then realizes, oh, it's alcohol, it burns. That would have been better, but then we didn't get that. Again, they take 10 minutes to set up the bar stools in the ring, and chairs and all this other stuff. And then Son of Havoc Hurricane Rana's Tejano into these already broken stools. So it was like they take all this time, they put the stuff in the ring, and then there's a cut somewhere, and the stuff's already broken. Like we don't even see how the stools get broken. They're just all of a sudden broken in the middle of the ring. And a wicked bump, too, because so picture broken bar stools in a pile in the middle of the ring with jagged edges and everything. And he Hurricane Rana's him off the top rope onto that.
Did you watch Lucha Underground Uno?
Yes.
Was it this bad?
No, this was not. This was not Vampiro Pentagon Jr. bad insanity. It was just.
Well, I'm just saying, even just for the cuts, did they cut it up that bad, like in the original one?
I don't remember. I don't remember the first one being this
heavily
edited. At least it didn't.
It sounds so disappointing.
For me, it was just because it felt like both of these matches should have been a lot longer and told a better story. Instead, it was just a bunch of stuff. It was just the big spots. But, I mean, it sounds like you enjoyed the show.
I had fun, but I wasn't expecting all this. I was expecting like a fatal 4-way.
Sure. So you were expecting something completely different. So, like I said, I'm a little sour on it, but
I guess I didn't
different strokes,
the chopping of the editing either, too.
Right.
Like, most of my notes I was taken at work, allegedly.
See there?
That's how I watched it, allegedly.
There you go. Okay, so then we have the finals of the tournament, Mac versus Son of Havoc. Son of Havoc ends up winning the match with a top rope moonsault. This is, again, they made it falls count anywhere because you did it for the other two. You might as well do it for this one.
I didn't like that when he was just like, okay, falls count, bar match, falls count. It's like, like an I Quit match or something?
Yeah.
Or is it different?
That's the thing, though, is all of those matches are pretty much the same anyway.
Yeah.
So, I thought this was a big win for Son of Havoc, and I was excited to see him get the big opportunity. So the big opportunity, or the unique opportunity, was either a briefcase guaranteeing him a shot for the Lucha Underground Championship at Ultima Lucha Trace, or a briefcase with $250,000 in it.
I wonder which one he's going to get. So
he chooses the championship match, and then Dario says, "Well, what? How did he get into this again?"
Pretty much said you have to in order to be in the main event, you have to overcome one more obstacle, and you got to beat this man.
Dr. Wagner Jr., who I was completely unfamiliar with. Apparently, he's a big star in Lucha Libre.
Vampiro was freaking out. The crowd was freaking out over him. So I don't know. His just atmosphere around this guy I was sold.
So he brings in a big star. He says you got to fight one more time. You can't just, even though you just earned the briefcase, now you have to still earn the briefcase. So if you lose, you don't get your contract, but Dr. Wagner gets the $250,000. At the end of it, Dr. Wagner wins, and the whole thing is a pointless tournament. So everything we just watched didn't matter anyway. That was why for me, that was the number one reason why I was really sour on the show, was because we just watched this hour of wrestling. There was the stuff that happened the week before leading into this, and all for naught at the end of the day. The tournament winner gets shit on, and he's out the door.
It's pretty much Daniel Bryan's entire WWE career in an hour.
But like you said, though, different strokes. People like different things. It was entertaining. Wrestling And if
the spots were fun.
Yeah.
They kept me in the match. Like what's his name, being slammed through the bar. I was just like,
yeah,
God damn, that's painful.
That was a crazy spot.
I liked Havoc in the middle of the ring, stomping on the glass, making it even worse to slam
Havoc, the mask out, the huge beard.
Yeah,
all right, I do like him.
So there's like little things like that I like, because if you see broke glass, they don't go to the extra extent to stomp on it and make it even worse.
Right.
Let alone stomp your opponent
he's got
into
a small box, a shallow box full of glass. He's stomping the glass to make it shardy, and then he slams the guy onto the box of glass. Yeah. But I'm excited to see the rest of Ultima Luchadores, though, because we got a regular episode this week, and then next week is a special 2-hour edition. So there should be plenty of time to get the rest of it in. I think maybe this tournament thing was like a last-minute thing for some reason.
I want to get it out of the way.
They just had to get it all in
throughout the 3 days too,
or just make it an extra episode.
Right.
Excuse me, an extra episode would have been nice to let this thing breathe a little bit, or at least have these matches spread out so that, because they're so similar, the Falls Count Anywhere and then, the bar fight and whatever, spread those out over different shows, make them the main event of different shows so that they just mean more that way. But then again, if you're going to end the tournament in the way that they did, maybe don't make such a big deal out of it anyway. So, I don't know. Shall we? I want to talk about NXT from last week, because that I was not sour on at all. That was actually a really good show. And I can't find my notes on it, but there it is. Potential match of the week here. The main event of the show was American Alpha versus the Revival in the 2 out of 3 falls match. Fantastic match.
Very good.
My favorite thing about this match is that it does what every 2 out of 3 falls match should do, and have the first fall go the length of a typical match. Go as long as a typical one-on-one match, or the length of a typical match, especially one of this caliber. So the first fall takes forever. It's amazing. I love it. I love how Graves gets into the Revival's music at the beginning. Exactly. Great early back and forth as usual. The heels take advantage by bending the rules. The Alpha's team spirit perseveres. The Revival target Jason Jordan's leg. Gable got a unique blind hot tag and saves Jordan from a suplex. Jordan gets a second hot tag and goes crazy. The straps come down. Dawson taps to an ankle lock for the first fall. Phenomenal first fall. Any thoughts from you guys before I move on and talk about the rest of the match?
No, I was actually going to say the same thing. I will say something at the end for this match, but the beginning was fantastic.
Yeah.
Loved everything about it. And I will say...
I don't think so. But anyway.
Well, I'm sorry. There was just so much, obvious, coordination and everything. That's not wrestling, guys.
For the second fall, Jordan quickly taps to a reverse figure 4 from Dash. I really like that.
That's what I did. I was actually surprised to see him tap to it.
Yeah.
Of all things. And I hope they utilize that more often.
See, I thought about that too, and you got to sometimes sacrifice a fall to keep yourself healthy to get that other fall or a pinfall.
Right, it's a good story because you got one more fall, might as well live to fight another fall, as they say, or live to fight another day. So, and I like the idea that tapping out shouldn't be this big stigma in pro wrestling. Like we've talked about it before, Taco. Like in MMA, it's just it's an honorable finish. It's fine. He got the better of me. Whereas in wrestling, it's like this big thing of you tapped out. It's like, don't make a big deal out of it. He's living to fight another day.
Tapped out at some point or another.
Exactly. They have a very impressive sequence leading to a near-fall sunset flip. Then Gable saves Jordan from a second reverse figure 4 attempt, and the Revival go over with Shatter Machine on the apron. I obviously didn't get all the details in there, but got the gist of it. But yes, a very good match.
The only problem I have with it is the fact that, again, with the hour-long NXT, I feel like it was cut short, even just like 5 to 8. I just 5 to 8 minutes. It just felt short because, again, it's a 2 out of 3 falls match. I expect it to take a long time. Like, you hear 2 out of 3 falls, you're like, oh, so 3 falls.
I was fine with the length of it. That didn't stick out to me in any way, but I can see what you're saying. I see your point
just
there.
for me, it just seemed like, again, because the first fall took so long, the next 2 falls were like bam, bam, like that almost for me.
The rest of the show, very good stuff as well. The Bayley versus Alexa Bliss fight, I thought that was great.
It was a really good match.
Really good match.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about, we got Dana Brooke on Monday Night Raw. We just had to watch that debacle last week and this week. Now we're going to get the rematch between Sasha Banks and Dana Brooke on SmackDown this week. So this was so good. Alexa Bliss, phenomenal heel, and Bayley just being that baby face, just phenomenal.
It was nice to see Bayley not have to make someone look good.
Yeah, that was great.
She looked more natural and actually just more fluid than any of the last
Right, when you have
matches.
when you have 2 people that can go, it makes it even better. I'm not saying that Alexa Bliss is a phenomenal worker or anything, but she's very good. She's coming along
I've
very
just
well.
seen a lot of improvement over
Definitely.
the last 2 weeks, just because we mentioned it last week. Just the fact that she had that slow heel-like match that she worked last week,
Yeah.
and that was really good.
Takes advantage. Early Bayley counters with a buckle bomb when Bliss gets cocky. So
That actually surprised me.
I liked that touch because Bliss is going over, getting cocky, and then Bayley's like, boom, hit you with that. Bliss then cuts off Bayley, comes back with hard right for a near knockout. I liked that spot where Bayley hits insult to injury, double knees combo, or that was Bliss hit that. I'm sorry. Then Bliss walks away with some credibility in the loss here. Bayley wins with the Bayley to belly, of course, and Bayley challenges Nia to one more match. So I shouldn't say looking forward to that, but I like the story that they're telling Bayley on this road to redemption, the road back to the women's championship.
I think Nia Jax should wrestle in street clothes.
It'd be better than that ring gear, actually. I have no news to. That's what I
Actually, you know what? I'll bring it up just because the news thing went off.
Okay.
That CNN and USA Today both got trolled that they were reporting that Vince McMahon was behind the purchase of the UFC.
Yikes. He's got money, but he doesn't have that much. You don't have enough. Blake and Murphy and the Hype Bros look like they're going to have a match, and then Rhino comes out and gores everybody but Blake for some reason. I thought going into it, this is an interesting matchup, Blake and Murphy versus the Hype Bros. 2 losing tag teams or whatever, both of them needing a win. So I liked that aspect of the story. And then Rhino comes in and fucks it all up.
Well, before that even happened, Blake and Murphy were already breaking up.
That's right.
So it's like, I don't understand why they're doing to this. They were one of the most fluid tag teams I've seen. When they won the titles from Lucha Dragons, I was pumped because it was the first time I'd seen the blind tags really be coming back with them. And all of that.
Well, I'm thinking, for some reason, to me, it kind of looks like I can't. One of them is looking more out of shape than the other.
The Blake,
and I think he might be on his way out, whereas Murphy looks like he's getting in even better shape.
Well, and he actually got a singles match too.
Okay, so there you go.
Against Nakamura.
There's that.
It's amazing. I
thought we had an awesome video package versus Nakamura. That's coming up this week, of course.
Tomorrow.
Today, if you're listening to the show on Wednesday. Yesterday, if you're listening on Thursday.
Did you get on that?
Let's see. And then we got the generic promos from each tag team going into the tag team match. I didn't think they were great promos or anything, but it's good to have promos going into a big main event like that. And Samoa Joe making his big return next week, or this week, as I should say. So I like that. A little something to look forward to besides of course, the big Finn Balor Nakamura match. So lots of it's going to be a phenomenal NXT this week, and then followed by the Cruiserweight Classic starting. I'm so excited for it.
Well, I'm pretty sure I heard that Hideo Itami returned at NXT house shows too.
Yes.
So obviously, once these taping rounds go through, we're going to get Hideo Itami back. And
Is it going to be Joe coming out to the ring to be cocky, and then Hideo Itami comes and makes his challenge for the NXT Championship?
I don't know. Honestly, I'd rather see Samoa Joe do something nasty so that Hideo Itami just has to whoop his ass.
Right.
I like seeing somebody whoop Joe's ass.
All right. Anything else from NXT you guys want to touch on?
No.
Awesome. Now, we talked about it last week, the Fight app, and how you can now watch Ring of Honor television on there. Anything from you guys? You guys watch a Ring of Honor?
Yeah, I just did my brackets today.
Well, it looks like you guys didn't, but I did, and I enjoyed the show. I want to talk about it a little bit. I'll just go through it in the order of the show. Jason Kincaid takes on Donovan Dijak. Donovan, the big obnoxious heel here with Prince Nana. Let's see. The 2015 Top Prospect Tournament winner versus a 2016 Top Prospect Tournament participant. I can really speak English. So in other words, Donovan Dijak won this Top Prospect Tournament last year, and the guy he's fighting was a participant in that tournament this year. Kincaid has a very unique offensive approach in the match. Dijak outpowers Kincaid. He's much bigger, gets cocky, goes for a springboard move. That's strange for a big guy like Dijak. Kincaid moves and gains momentum with more of his unique offense. Dijak wins the match with his Feast Your Eyes move, I guess is what it is there. Let's see. Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser take on the Addiction in a tag team championship match. This is the results of the culmination of a tag team tournament that went on over 2 days over the summer. It was not on TV. It was just on their on-demand service. It was actually one of the shows was when they were in town here in Minneapolis, at Hopkins actually, and then another from Milwaukee. So those were available on demand on their website. I didn't get a chance to see them, but Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser won that tournament, and they take on the Addiction here. It was interesting because both these tag teams were heels. So at the beginning, they do the code of honor thing where they shake hands and show each other respect. They have a nice sequence of wrestling moves where they go through and they chain wrestle. And then all of a sudden, they both go to kick each other in the gut. They catch each other's kicks. So they're being very respectful at first, but then their inner heel comes out. And so I like that touch. And then they're healing back and forth to see who can out-heel each other in the match and win. Eventually, the Addiction does win. Very good finishing sequence, I thought, for the match. Then O'Reilly cuts a promo. He's going to get his big title match in 2 weeks against Jay Lethal. So looking forward to that. That'll be on TV. And then the Fish Tank. I did not like this at all. Bobby Fish, talking segment on Ring of Honor. It was okay, but I don't like Ring of Honor trying to do long, boring in-ring talking segments like TNA and WWE. So I didn't care.
It doesn't work for the character at all.
Right, and it was him interviewing the two participants in the main event, Mark Briscoe and ACH. I thought earlier in the show we got promos from those two guys. Each one of them did a promo, and these two are fighting for the number one contendership for the television title. That's what Bobby Fish has. That's kind of the story here behind him hosting this Fish Tank segment and interviewing the guys that could possibly be the next number one contender. But I did like that during the show we got promos from ACH and Mark Briscoe leading into the match. And then we had the match. Bobby Fish is on commentary during the match. I thought that was distracting. I didn't care for that. ACH's selling is still a little cheesy for me, but good action from these two. Mark gets his knees up for a Midnight Star attempt off the top and then hits a Fisherman's Buster and a Froggy Bow for the win. I like Mark Briscoe going in against Bobby Fish for the TV title there. It was a good show. I enjoyed this episode of Ring of Honor. We're going to get Roderick Strong in his final match for Ring of Honor versus Dalton Castle on next week's show. So looking forward to that this week.
I still get the Fight app.
You guys got to get the Fight app and watch these shows. Ring of Honor's awesome. Well, you got regular TV at home, don't you?
No.
You don't? Oh.
I have. What do you mean by regular TV?
Well, Ring of Honor is on our local channel 23.
Oh, okay, so I could probably get that. When is it on? Is the real question.
I think it's late nights on the weekends. So they show it. They do show it 3 times. It's on. I'll show you when we get out here later. Get the Fight app and watch it on demand.
That's probably what I'm going to do.
Fight app.
No.
All right, we've talked about all the other stuff. Let's talk about Raw. So it's the the penultimate show to the draft. We got one more big
Forgot
Raw.
the sound bit.
Yeah, we were right.
Oh, I forgot the one. Not the news. Every damn week, the news. All right, they're rocking out. Missed it. Missed the opportunity. There they go. I should note this is our first live broadcast. We have 0 viewers.
Yes.
I just thought I'd point that out.
It's consistency, man. It's consistency.
It is. The longer we're on, the more it will grow. It takes time. Once we've been on for a year or two, it's like, these guys have been around for a while. They might have some credibility. We are in the fledgling stages of the podcast.
But hey, viewers, watch us next week.
Yeah, watch us next week.
Yeah, for real, please. Join in on the SmackDown conversation during the live SmackDown.
Comment all you want.
But this Raw, the last Raw before the draft, well, no, technically that's next week's Raw because the draft will be on SmackDown. So it was, we started off with a battle royal to determine the number 1 contender, and lo and behold, we had Darren Young in the match with Bob Backlund at ringside, and Darren Young wins the match. For a second there, it looked like Alberto Del Rio was going to get the sneaky win because he goes out under the top rope, not over the top rope. But then he comes back in and gets eliminated. Anyway.
Tramposo. It's cheater in Spanish.
Oh, nice.
Not the barrel.
Not the barrel.
Pair of idiots. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of Darren Young winning this battle royal for number 1 contendership for Miz's Intercontinental Championship?
I'm pretty sure that he's going to make the Intercontinental title great again.
Well, hopefully.
Hopefully. I would like to see the promos kind of go on too long, almost in a sense, where it's just really pounded in our heads with these promos, and then hype a big debut of he's finally made when Sting in the rafters for fucking.
For me, for me the promos were at that point. It was like, okay, there's not too much more you can do here with these. But I'm with you. I'm
hyped him finally
debuting into a battle royal,
Yeah,
it's just kind of an off note. Sure, he wins, and obviously he gets that credibility, but
I noticed that Backlund was at ringside before I even realized that Darren Young was in that. So, I mean, there's that.
We could have had him drafted next week and had Darren Young come and be like, SmackDown's going to be great again, or Raw's going to be great again.
Sure.
There's potential that is.
And I want to see him come out with just the 1 pair of clothes.
Right.
With the bow tie and whatnot. But, I'm remaining open. I want to see him in the singles match.
I like that he won.
So, yeah, it's a good start. I thought they could have done better, but whatever. Let's see. Then we had... they made the announcement that Orton's going to make his big return at Battleground on the Chris Jericho highlight reel. So look forward to that. Zack Ryder challenges Rusev for the U.S. title in the back, and then Sheamus attacks him and says, "We're going to have a match, you dick." So we had Sheamus versus Zack Ryder. It was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. Sheamus wins the match with the Brogue Kick, unfortunately for Ryder. And then Rusev comes out and beats the shit out of Zack Ryder, gets him in the accolade, and repeats, "I accept your challenge! I accept your challenge!"
The Bro Kick or the Bro Kick?
In this case, it was both, but yes.
I don't know. I like Zack Ryder's intensity.
Yeah, definitely. But one of my favorite spots in the match is he's going after Sheamus relentlessly, and they're battling outside the ring. Throws him back in. Sheamus is there on his butt. And he's like, "Hey, hang on, slow down, calm down, just relax, man.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?"
Yeah, I liked that. That was really good. We had Breezango take on the Lucha Dragons for literally no reason. There was a little bit of a reason. There was something where Breezango spilled something on one of them in the back from earlier in the day. But the whole point of the match, though, was so the announcers could talk about the potential for tag teams to be split up in the draft. Like, they continue to bang this into our head like it's going to happen again. And I just hate that idea. They keep pointing out things that were just so bad about the first time that they had the brand extension, as they're calling it, or whatever, the distinct rosters. So
hopefully Golden Truth gets split up, so your shirt goes on discount and I can buy it.
I agree.
There you go. One thing that I did like that they talked about is the announcers talked about how high draft picks will be garnering better contracts. So I like the idea of, and they were talking about agents and contracts and high draft picks. And so I kind of like that sports aspect to the conversation.
They're always trying to put themselves that close to actual sports, but they're still entertainment.
Yeah, it's the Vince McMahon factor. We'll get to talking about the stuff that Shane says a little bit later. But I just thought that was interesting. Then after that, we had the Rollins report, where Rollins interviews several different Roman Reigns interviews, and they edit them together in a somewhat funny and clever way.
Well, that was totally Roman Reigns.
So I thought it was funny, a little, an entertaining thing to throw out there, so not bad. Then Ambrose comes out, and I love Ambrose promo. Very long thing here, but it's very much worth a listen.
I'm Tommy Striker.
Oh.
Now I feel bad.
Yay! Very good promo from Ambrose there. I really liked that. And I'm looking forward to the match next week. I'm thinking they're doing this because these guys are going to end up split skis on different brands. Mm-hmm. But this should be really good. I'm thinking that's going to be match of the week next week. I'm thinking so.
Sure.
Let's see. Kevin Owens versus Cesaro was another very good match. This one had a very interesting story to it. It was the whole idea of the thing from SmackDown where Kevin Owens was on commentary for Sami Zayn's match with Jericho, and then Kevin Owens gets involved, and so they bring out Sami Zayn to be on commentary for this match, and Kevin Owens, he refuses to come out. It's a hazardous work environment. We've got to have Sami Zayn removed. So they have Sami Zayn removed, and as he's being walked up the ramp by the referees, Kevin Owens starts to make his entrance, and of course, the two of them get into a little bit of a fight right there on the ramp. So I thought that was pretty interesting anyway. It's funny because he wanted to be ejected, but then he comes out as he's getting ejected, gets in a fight with them, and then he runs away. He gets in the ring and says, "Come on, I'm right here."
Escorted. In fairness, Sami Zayn pushed him first. He was just walking to the ring.
He was just walking. So, hey, I'm just doing my thing, man. It's your fault. It's your fault. You started it. So then before the match happened, we had Vince McMahon arriving, and I love it because He's so fly. I feel like he's making all of this up on the spot. Nobody knows. For weeks now, we've been calling them the COOs. The podiums have been on the stage, and Michael Cole has been going, those podiums are where the COOs of the respective brands are going to be making their draft picks. And now here comes Vince McMahon, and because it's live and he can change his mind and do whatever the fuck he wants, he decides it's going to be commissioners now. So as we find out at the end of the show, which we'll get to in a minute, commissioners, general managers, COOs, all kinds of insanity. So
it's the Vince McMahon way.
So then we had the match, Kevin Owens versus Cesaro. I really liked that there wasn't Sami Zayn on commentary, because I always find that commentary distracting from a potential good match. Mm-hmm. And this was a very good match, and I enjoyed it. Let's see here. Kevin Owens ends up winning the match with his with that new finisher that he's doing. It was like an upside down fireman's spinning cutter.
Okay, I actually going to ask that. I have that in my notes. Is that going to be his permanent finisher? Is that replacing the pop-up power?
Well, he still did the pop-up power bomb, and they're still featuring it. So I'm thinking it's just another move that he can use as a finisher, or another potential false finish move. So it's something you can hit. You can get a dramatic near fall out of. So I like having multiple moves that you can finish guys off with. So that I didn't have a problem with him adding to the arsenal. So.
Well, and that's one thing I've noticed about Kevin Owens is he's either still experimenting or he's just smart enough to pace out certain moves. I mean, even that neck breaker he did on the knee.
Yes.
Like, again, when besides like Ty Dillinger now doing the flip over fireman carry, the way he did that neck breaker was completely different.
Right. Well, it's important to if you have a large offense, you want to bring it out slowly, or you always want to be evolving and doing new things to keep it interesting.
By the way, he's the best at it.
You don't want to fall into the 5 moves of doom, category like the Cena's and the Roman Reigns of the world. So, even though Cena's gotten much better, and even Reigns in the ring is better, it's just his connection that's the problem. So, let's see. Anything to add to that, Taco?
No, that was a good match.
Yep. Excuse me.
It almost reminded me of a reverse F5, though. Foreshadowing.
A little bit, yeah. Then we had the club say that they're going to go beat up John Cena in L.A.
I love the beat up John Cena chance.
So this time we have AJ doing the ski, not Luke Gallows. But Luke Gallows didn't really get a chance to talk this time. So
fuck off.
So then we had the New Day with the Wyatts and the Woods thing that we talked about earlier. I don't think we really need to talk about that anymore.
There was a photo out there with the club with Carl Anderson's grandma, and even she wants to beat up John Cena.
Nice. Cass and Enzo say that everyone wants John Cena's spot, but they want to earn it. So then we had the match between Cass and Enzo versus the club, Gallows and Anderson. And the thing ends up in a DQ after Styles throws Cass over the barrier or whatever. Whole thing breaks into a brawl. They're beating up Enzo. And then Cena's music hits. He walks out, then decides he's going to run. Hits the ring, and they all fight and brawl, and it's exciting. And
I see, but it's running Cena. With running Cena, he's got to come out and he's got to get the shirt off right away, rather than taking the shirt off in the ring.
Well, he walked out with the shirt on. Then he decided, I got to take the shirt off, then I can run. So there's that. Then we had this awful thing here we call Dana Brooke versus Sasha Banks. Talked about it a little bit earlier. Slow, not very good match. I don't like Sasha Banks having to sell for Dana Brooke. Let's get Alexa Bliss up, instead of Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke is way too.
Well, then she's looking worse and worse every week. Not wrestling wise. I'm honestly saying like physical body wise. It doesn't seem like she's keeping up with it. Let alone, I don't know if anybody else knows, but she wasn't wearing barely any makeup. She was ugly as hell.
I did notice that, and I wasn't going to bring it up, you chauvinist pig, but
I did not care.
no, I did. I definitely noticed that, and yeah, the road life is not being kind to Dana Brooke, and her being green on top of it. It's just she's been brought up way too soon. Nevertheless, Sasha Banks gets what she can out of it. I liked Banks' comebacks. They looked hard. They looked stiff. It's like, you're going down for me, bitch. Doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, that's how I took it. Sasha should dominate this match, but she doesn't. Sasha does win the match with the Banks statement, so that's good. But then after the match, Charlotte thinks that Sasha's one win is a fluke and challenges her to fight Dana again on SmackDown.
How many Pokemon do you think Sasha Banks has?
Not more than me, because I hadn't even started the game yet. So
Sorry, I just didn't want to think about that match.
that's a great way. If you don't want to talk about Dana Brooke, we'll just move right along. All right, then we had the big Vince McMahon in the main event with Shane and Steph deciding who the commissioner of SmackDown was going to be. Good things about it, bad things about it. There were moments that felt very real about it. But I don't know, I thought it was kind of clunky because, and I'm not sour on the thing, I liked it at the end of the day, at the end of the segment, how it turned out or whatever. But I thought it was just weird how he came out and said, we're going to say who is going to be running SmackDown instead of SmackDown and Raw or vice versa or whatever. I don't know, it was what it was.
A little part of it to me was too, like, when he was like, plead your cases to me, or Stephanie, why you should be running SmackDown. And she's like, well, you know my stuff, but Shane's, you know, wolf in sheep's clothing and this, and he's just a terrible person. He's cutthroat. In Vince's eyes, that's what he wants. You're promoting Shane why he should have SmackDown right now.
Right. Well, and at the end of the thing, let's kind of go through it here, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more. Vince accuses Stephanie of being too sweet, which was strange.
I love that little part though, because that's basically what we've been saying for 2 months now. It's like, what fucking Stephanie is this? And just to see Vince in the middle of the rings doing that, it's like, all right.
Yeah. Because she's all over the place. So it's a good point. But then you were saying Steph makes her case, and we got that here. It's a lot of M words.
Maniacal laugh.
Maniacal laugh.
So yeah, you kind of made the point that she was making an argument for Shane because that's the kind of thing that McMahon wants. I really liked Shane's argument. It's kind of it's the fans' argument. It's what us fans want to see. So yeah, that's kind of the thing that all of us wrestling fans are looking for, right? Just something different than Raw or whatever. Go ahead, Taco.
Well, now he has a lot of shit to back up right now.
Yeah.
From just that one little statement, like we need to see different. We need to see different camera angles.
Yeah.
Just the cutting away to commercial breaks and everything.
Yeah.
You need to stop doing that.
So it's everything that when we first heard about the potential of this brand split or whatever, when we got really excited at first, it's like that's everything that we want, and then we all kind of calmed ourselves down and said, okay, hold on, Vince McMahon is still in charge of this whole thing. He still is running this whole thing. It's all still running through him. What's actually going to happen? Because okay, in real life, Stephanie and Shane aren't running shit. They're just there. They're just on-screen performers. So is Vince McMahon actually capable of making SmackDown different than Raw in ways that we were thinking? And like you're saying, commercial breaks and the way the show looks and the stage and the setting and the color scheme and all that crap.
The color scheme.
So it'll be really fun to see how this whole thing plays out and where we're at on SmackDown, especially in a couple of weeks once it's actually removed from Raw.
Just set people on each other.
Right. So once that happens, it would have been interesting to maybe name these general managers or these commissioners, weeks back so that you could start seeing the changes on the show happen. And then it would have been a way to make SmackDown more interesting now because it's been kind of a lame duck show, it feels like, the last few months or whatever, basically. So it would have been a way to maybe give some intrigue to SmackDown to make it, something to tune in to watch to see what's different, what's changing.
Who Brock Lesnar's opponent is.
Says you.
Well, in the same sense, like you said, they could have announced it weeks ago, and then they could have still played up the factor of just having to pick the general managers. You still have the factor of having to pick somebody to run the show.
And then you still have the draft and everything, too, so...
Any guesses for who they're going to pick for general managers?
Go ahead, no.
There's a rumor for SmackDown.
Who?
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, that was one that I had heard too. I wouldn't mind.
The WWE app accidentally retweeted out something, and it was saying there's the S movement taking over SmackDown, and they kind of broke down what happened on Raw, and then they instantly took it off of the app.
See. Yeah, I've heard that rumor too.
Could Steph pick Triple H?
She could pick Triple H.
Triple H.
Could Shane pick Triple H?
That'd be interesting.
Or there's you could say there's the William Regal stuff. He's been great on NXT, although I don't want to see him leave NXT. We could do both.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Well, that's going to be the show this week.
Yeah.
If you want to follow along, we are on Twitter at BPW Podcast. We do have a Facebook page, Facebook/Best Pro Wrestling Podcast, I believe is the address. You can just find us doing a search there. I am at Tommy Striker with a Y on Twitter. You can go to the website, bestprowrestlingpodcast.com. If you want to email the show, bestprowrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. Or if you want to get your voice on the show, talk to us, ask us questions, anything like that, you can get the Voxer app and just do a search for Best Pro Wrestling Podcast, and you'll see the logo there. Taco, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Snapchat, on the Twitter at HTRADTaco. And also, got to give a shout out to my buddies, Tattoo Shop, Anchor 13 in Princeton. Vote for them on MinnesotaNewsCountry.com.
Do it.
It's a big contest for best tattoo shop in that area, so...
You can find my Twitter on the retweets of the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast Twitter, and check out my eBay page at joesrubbergames.com.
There you go. That's going to be the show this week. Tune in next week for the live SmackDown edition of the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. Talk so long there that the music ran out.
Love it.
Yes!
Yes, live SmackDown show next week. And,
live action.
And yeah, check it out. So
spread the word.
That's it. We're all done.
Brother Nero. Yes.